What is going on, guys? Still here. So today I'm going to try and make a quick as possible look at the new post that Gaijin just posted, which is dev team replies to the community feedback on the Sky Guardians update. I just recorded about 20 minutes of me just rambling on. Now that I've woken up, we're going to try this again. So I'm going to TLDR some things. I kind of went on a big rant about this. This is the main thing in this post that most people, I think, are going to be kind of upset with. I'm going to TLDR it first. So Gaijin basically says that according to their statistics, the Tunguska is garbage, and the Panzer S1 was a fine addition, and also that the Panzer S1 is technically worse than the Tor because of missile performance. Well, the Tor still cannot reach out to the spawn. It's pretty close to it, but it cannot reach out, radar-wise and whatever, not to the air spawn. The Tor S1 does not have 430mm autocannons. The Tor S1, I don't think has IRST. Pretty sure that's the case. Someone might have to check me on that. The Tor S1 is also, or M1, Tor M1, I kept saying S1. Tor M1, sorry, is also in the Chinese tech tree. It's a minor nation. Even though a lot of people do play China, probably more than the other minor nations, it's still a minor nation, and Gaijin considers the Tor M1 to be an outlier statistics-wise, and they basically are saying that it is good. The Tor M1, again, is in the Chinese tech tree, not the Russian tech tree. A lot less people are playing it, and people that use it are probably using it pretty decently well. The Tunguska was forever, if you remember, when it was added, could use its missiles to HE splash damage all of the main battle tanks in the game, pretty much. Its 30 mils could pretty much kill anything from the front as well with the HE filler, similar to how the Sergeant York was for a while, and basically became a tank killer. And the aircraft we had in game when the Tunguska was originally added were pretty easy to handle. So most of the time you would just blap one aircraft, because there's a lot more tanks in a ground match than there are aircraft, and then drive around and tank hunt everything. Even after the introduction of helicopters and whatnot, you still are mostly tank hunting. So you're dying a lot to tanks. Gaijin is basically saying our statistics prove this without, again, showing what those statistics are. And I would like to bet that the same problem with the Gepard still, and why the Gepard A1 or whatever is still 8.0, is because most people were tank hunting with the Gepard and still do more than they're killing aircraft. Even though the Gepard has a pretty decent radar system, can literally lock up a target in I think it's like a 45-degree cone or something, or maybe 60-degree cone, and just slave the guns right to that radar target, which is what the Tunguska does, like 3 battle ratings higher, so 2 battle ratings higher. So, yeah, 2 AAs in the game that are tank hunters versus one that is specifically going after aircraft and has no choice but to sit and spawn because it doesn't even have fucking guns, cough, Tor, is Gaijin's way of somehow justifying the Panzer being in the game. It can multi-guide up to 4 missiles. You'd probably only be firing 4 at a time unless you're countering a helicopter that's somehow blowing up. Oh wait, that's the K-50 that's in the same nation, so unless it's a mixed battle, that doesn't happen. Let's see, what else? Yeah, basically, TLDR, Russian players are stupid. They've been tank hunting forever with the 2S6. Any normal warthunder player that has played top tier for remotely a decent amount of time knows this. And the Panzer didn't really need to be in-game because the Tor could have fulfilled the role of the missile SAM better, while the Tunguska remained the SHORAD option. Because basically, according to Gaijin's charts down here, the Tor has the best range, and also I think this is some sort of this is the velocity drop off as the range goes out, which still shows that the Panzer's better. Am I dumb? And then they show a bunch of technical bull. I don't even fucking care. All right, let's not go to the F-16. Basically, it doesn't matter. You're trading agility at insane range for the range, while in the Tor you're trading the range for the agility. Also, let's not forget that, again, at the moment, you can take something like the MiG-27 and the Su-17, which are arguably the best casts in the game, because they're pretty damn fast. They can climb pretty efficiently. I know the Phantom is kind of up there, but bombs are a little bit harder than the K-29s. The K-29T is a missile, so the moment you lock something up, it's going to hit the target. Walleyes are kind of finicky sometimes. Sometimes they actually even spiral out. Other NATO weaponry is laser guided, like the Mirage 2000 is only laser guided weaponry, so it has to train the target and make sure it is somewhat in the envelope of getting shot at the AA, or shot at by the AA. So Russia has the best AA in game, backed by some of the best casts in game. And as I was going with the cast option, people go above the map, like directly dive straight down, which sometimes has rendering issues on top of the fact that radars don't all see up 90 degrees directly above them. So that means that, yeah, you have the best helicopter in the game, the best AA in the game, and the best cast option in the game all at once. And the best cast option is taking advantage of the game's bullshit rendering when you're directly above the battlefield. So have fun. Anyways, moving on. The F-16AJ, some of you might be concerned about this. Gaijin TLDR on this one is, while it is based off of the YF-16, which featured 2 Sparrow hardpoints on the gear doors, basically, according to game limitations, they cannot do it. This makes sense because if you know anything about the swing wings in game, when the wings are swept back on the Tomcat or the Su-17 or Tornado, their wing hitbox is still in the wings extended out position. So, yeah, it's a game limitation. RIP. It doesn't matter. I'm sure before Gaijin even figures out that bullshit, you're going to be getting an F-15J anyways. So, sorry, Japan, but that's what you get right now. All right, and the Yak-141. So, the Yak-141 didn't have IRST, I guess, on the prototypes, but in terms of game performance, it is better than the MiG-29, in my opinion. It is cracked in terms of flight performance. It can afterburner hover with the VTOL setting set to 50%, and you just point the nose at, like, maybe I think it's like a 35-degree angle, and you're just going to hover pretty decently easily without flipping over, and be able to use the HMD to fire R-27Ts at funny angles, and you get 4 of them. So it's not going to get R-73s right now as well, or R-77s, but I think that this thing, because it can carry 4 R-27s, 2 ERs, 2 Ts, is pretty cracked. So that's the 141. The Ariete, I was going to make a video separately on this, but the War and PSO armor kits, let me explain it here. So the good thing about this is that CL-3143, they call it 42, is replacing DM-33. That round is like the 3rd heaviest round in game, so it produces a lot of damage, and it's replacing DM-33, which is pretty garbage now, but it's also going to get the DM-53 round. So you can trade damage for penetration or vice versa. If you're good with your shot placement, it shouldn't matter, but we all know how Russian tanks eat NATO rounds into the void. The AMV has 3 prototypes currently in Italy. They have the PT-1, PT-2, and PT-3. The PT-1 is what you see here originally, but some data came out in December of last year, so a couple months back, that all prototypes were being tested with both the War kit and the PSO armor kit on. If you don't know what those are, let's see. So we've got this. This is War kit, and this is PSO, and they're being combined because they have an upgraded engine. This is, where is it here? 1,300 horsepower, 2,300 RPM versus 1,500 horsepower, 2,100 RPM, I think was on the AMV. Italy getting fucked again. So what was I saying? Yeah, so the data that came out in December basically proves that this PT-1 no longer is just in this form. It actually has the armor kits on it combined. Like, they're testing all 3 prototypes, I should say, if I didn't say that already. So this is kind of now a downgrade I mean, it already was a downgrade in gameplay speaking, but this could now get both kits. So Gaijin says that at a later date they're going to add the Ariete would be PT2, which originally was supposed to have it on. Like I said, now they were like, oh, we're going to test it on all three. I don't know what PT3 is specifically. There's not much data on that third prototype, but they'll add the PT2 at a later date, which will feature both PSO and War. But I mean, it's not all bad. Yeah, you're not getting the armor kit, and I feel like, again, this is a downgrade of the existing Arietes, even if it has better mobility. But you at least get to keep that 3143 round, and fuck the M33, it's garbage. Moving on. Gaijin basically TLDR with this, doesn't think that radiation missiles, aka, like the Seed aircraft and whatnot, will work in game because they don't see the same bands as the AAs we have in game. They're meant to see, like, longer range missile sights like Patriots, S-300, stuff like that. Except that the AGM-88, I know, can actually see the SA-15. If you don't know what the SA-15 is, that's the Tor. So I guess it could target one thing in game. But it's not the first time Gaijin would gamify something to get it to work outside of reality. I know they want to or model things as accurate as possible, but considering you just added an 18-kilometer range SAM, I mean, why not? Lastly, they were going to increase the respawn points of SAMs, which, oh my god, fucking finally. Sorry, God. Top tier is no longer going to be a get out of jail free card for people who suck. They increased, well, how many years ago was it? 2-3 years ago? They increased the spawn point, starting spawn points, or reduced the spawn point cost of vehicles, whichever it was. So you can, like, spawn 3 times in a game. You used to be able to, if you spawned, didn't do shit, and died, you were out of the match. And that kind of led to people basically abusing AAs because they suck. So you're not going to be able to drive in your Abrams or T-80 or whatever, die like a retard because you suck, and then get into an AA and camp in the spawn and, like, do nothing and all of a sudden magically whip out a fucking attack aircraft. So top tier is slowly becoming a place of skill again, not in the way that people would probably want it to be, but, don't suck. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the devlog, sort of. I hope this was quicker, but we will see. So anyways, thank you all for watching. Good luck dealing with Russia, and I will link the devlog to watch all the cope. So fuck off.